This is for anyone who has really bad Achilles tendonitis, insertional Achilles, and Sjögren's disease. These are the three biggest pillars I feel like you need to work on to get to that point where you want to be. For myself, I've had Achilles tendonitis pretty bad, hurt myself really bad. It's 8 months ago. For a month, it was really tough for me to even like go through the motions of walking. It took me about a couple months to run. Pushing off felt really weird, and I had no spring behind my ankle, no power. And doing these three things and kind of realizing some things now has really helped me with these issues. So number one is restoring sensitivity and foot function and overall neural pathways in your body, especially in your lower leg, your foot. So normally when we get injuries anywhere, our shoulder, head, ankle, foot, elbow, we always just kind of keep our mind on it. We're just like, oh man, if I gotta do this, like we fuck with it. We fuck with it a little bit too much, and we do a little bit too many things, but we don't think about, activating other things. We don't think about doing things with our hands that actually, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but my forearm is literally moving and it's right next to my elbow. So it's sending signals and different things are turning on by my injured area. So restoring foot function with your foot, being able to move your foot up and down and have that neurological connection and that ability to move your foot and get a pump in your foot, in your toes, and even wake up areas around the Achilles. Because for me, when I had a really bad left side, even caused instability around my perineals, being able to pick up my foot and move it in certain directions, like it really woke up the side of my ankle that hasn't been awake in years, and it was really trippy, and that really helped me feel much better. I felt more supported because that area was on and I felt like it was on, and it really felt great for my body to be able to do things without me causing pain to my Achilles. Like I was getting a pump in my ankle, my foot, in and around my Achilles without doing anything, without doing calf raises, without stressing on my Achilles by doing something, trying to get my knee over my toe or anything crazy. Like I was just moving my foot up and down, moving other things. And another thing too is really big for especially younger athletes. A lot of y'all go to school with boots or shoes, higher shoes, Jordans, like those cool shoes, but if you're trying to be an athlete and you're moving around a lot of times you go play a sport in a more less cushioned shoe and you're playing really hard, you're slamming your foot into the floor, you put on cleats and it's a really flat, soft cleat that you feel everything when you move. So having some big cushy shoe you're wearing throughout the day just sensitizes your foot, and then you just want to go crazy for 2 hours. It puts pretty bad inputs in your body, and it doesn't get your body ready to be able to move, pain-free or when you want. So restoring foot function also means, and sensory input means, having shoes that actually are thin. Like this shoe is like really thin. I'm able to feel the ground like crazy when I walk, when I move. And it's basically strengthening my foot as I move. So another thing to think about is like, say, for an athlete, you practice really hard for 2 hours, and then you go back in your car and you sit down, you go home, sit down, eat dinner, go to your room, play video games, sit down. You wake up in the morning, eat cereal, sit down. You go to school, you sit down for 8 hours, and then you want to go play, do something crazy for 2 hours. Like, no other animal in the animal kingdom does that besides humans. Every other animal goes, hunts, does something, lion kills its prey. Okay, they sit down on top of themselves. Okay, they're continually walking. They don't go sit down on the couch. Their body's always acclimating to their area, and they're always putting input in the body that helps with recovery and puts more sensory inputs in the body. So noticing that also with what you're doing, maybe I should be staying on the phone more, maybe I should, be walking more, maybe I should, because all that is increasing the threshold for when you go play. It's easy, rather than, oh shit, I gotta rest so much so I can play. You know, that doesn't make too much sense. You should be on your feet for a good amount of time and be able to play, you know, at a pretty high level. Number two, which really helped me recently, and I didn't really realize this not until I started feeling better, was getting areas in your body rather than your ankle strong. Yes, I have Achilles issues. Yes, this hurts, but it's not just that. It's not just that. You probably have a weak knee. You probably have weak hamstrings. You're probably tight in your quads and your hamstrings. Your back is probably weak. Your glutes are probably weak. You know, your whole body is probably weak and tight. So, no shit, it's gonna cause other areas in your body to feel not good, 100%. And for a while, I was just really focusing on my ankle, and that was great. But not till the last 2 to 3 months, I started working on my low back. That's been a really big weakness for me. I started working on my hips, my flexibility, and you know, being able to do a better split squat, like having my mobility and the strength and the knee strength to hold, you know, 55, 60 pound dumbbells while I'm doing split squats. It's been a big game changer for my body and how my ankle feels. I haven't been able to do this much volume of running, jumping, and playing since I was in high school. And it's crazy. It's really crazy. So being able to address your issues and address other imbalances is going to be massive. Especially with ankle issues, everyone I've seen who has ankle issues, including myself, has had hip issues. There's not one person I have seen that hasn't had a hip issue, some type of hip tightness, some type of hip weakness. There has been some type of hip issue with ankle issue. So if you aren't addressing the hip, glute, low back issue, and you're only addressing the ankle, that's only one part of the puzzle. Only one part of the puzzle. I know that's the area that hurts, but there's so many other things that may be making that ankle hurt more. And I've been realizing the stronger everything else gets, the less tension my ankle has, the less my Achilles has to work. You know, the more my Achilles, you know, gets to be stronger and, you know, and build up better habits than, you know, what I have currently. So, and one more to think about with this, it's, say you get a really nasty, you know, glute, low back, quad, hamstring pump. So how gravity works, you get pumped from up here, but all the blood rushes back down to the extremities. So you're adding more blood flow in your body, you're getting stronger in these other areas, and it's just gonna help you more addressing these other areas rather than just focusing on the area that hurts. Number three is overall frequency and recovery. So for me personally, I've had, you know, pretty bad Achilles tendonitis. It was more like an event that happened that caused my Achilles tendonitis. It got to a point where it got pretty bad, but it wasn't chronic and it wasn't insertional and it wasn't really close to my heel bone. It was tough, but it wasn't something that totally, that I couldn't even move on. But so for me, I had to do a lot more frequency, but someone who has a lot more chronic issues probably doesn't need that much frequency, but they do need high quality workouts, which that means they don't necessarily need to work out 7 times a week on their ankle. They probably need 3 to 4 times a week, but they need the right inputs, they need the right workouts, they need the right things to do for that to progress. Because someone who has, you know, Servet's disease or Achilles, insertional Achilles tendonitis, the threshold is much more lower. So we don't want to pass that threshold where you go too much and you end up aggravating again. Their connective tissues or your connective tissues are a little bit weaker. So we got to make sure that you have the right recovery, you're doing the right things, and you're not working out too much. But that's only half of it. The other half is actual recovery. Actual recovery with sleep, eat, diet, you know, actual inputs in your body, the way you're thinking, you know, all the other things you're doing. Because say if you work out 3-4 times a week for an hour, hour and a half, what are you doing with the other hours of the day? What are you doing? Are you sleeping good? Are you eating good? Are you doing the right things that you need to do? Because for me, sleeping was massive. Eating the right foods was massive, like bone broth, beef, connective tissue, real food, antioxidants, blueberries, strawberries, all these other things like honey. You need all these things for your body to, you know, have the building blocks you need to actually do the things and recover your body. And you know, something for me was really massive was grounding, being on the grass. being on the grass really reduces inflammation in your body by like 100%, like something retarded. Like you need to be doing this for an hour at least a week. But for me, I was grounding every single day, putting my feet in the grass, moving around, obviously barefoot, having more sensory inputs without pain, restoring more foot function in my body, and just reducing pain and injury by just grounding. There's so much different articles on this and science that backs this up. It's massive. You need to be doing that. And then for me also was meditation. Just really quick breakdown. I would stand right here, eyes closed. Me personally, I got taught this to like meditate, but think about there's like a bead-like muscle underneath your heel in your plantar fascia. It's like right here. And you want to think about that area while tensing your foot up. I was literally holding this for minutes. 4 minutes every day, 3 to 4 times a week. And I would get a big sick pump, sometimes just from right here, sometimes behind my knees, sometimes in my hamstrings and my glutes. It was really helpful for me to be more in tune with my body. I wasn't listening to anything, I was just listening to my body. So there's a lot of different recovery tools and a lot more different things you need to be doing, meditating, grounding, eating right, sleeping right, because if you're not doing all those things right now for your recovery, there's so much stuff you're missing. So much stuff. If you're eating candy, if you're eating bullshit, like it's literally gonna halt the process of you healing yourself. Literally. So those are the 3 biggest things. One, it's sensory input, restoring foot function. You know, a lot of problems from the Achilles also have problems with the foot. And you don't want all your attention to be on the Achilles. 2 is actually getting all these other areas strong, because oftentimes people who have Achilles injuries, ankle issues, have hip issues, or other issues, you know, they're weak, they're tight, and they're not strong. Get stronger, get more mobile. 3, recovery, sleep, eat, all these other things, all the sensory inputs. And also you can just believe that you're gonna be good. If you're doing all these things, but they're like, I don't know if this is gonna work, and you're always putting that in your head, of course it's not gonna work. Of course it's not gonna work. All the things that happen in your life is because you thought about it. Every single thing. So if you think about being good and you're gonna be fine, then you're going to be. You're going to be. There's no other way. I knew I was gonna be fine. And I just did all these things I needed to do and I'm fine. So there's so many different things you could be doing, and all encompass these 3 things. So watch this video over and over again if you need to understand it. Do all the things you need to do. Eat good, sleep good, do the right workouts, do the right frequency, listen to your body, restore function, get your body to feel better, you know, get your body to actually feel better and have more feel good sensations, and dude, you're gonna be great. So leave any comments, ask any questions, and let me know if this helps.